I met myself today. It's true. Get mic'd up here. It was at my temporally distorted post office, and yeah, I saw myself. It was alarming, to say the least. The other me was retrieving an unusually large package from a parcel locker, and I turned around, or I should say, the other me turned around and saw myself, and I both just stood there waiting for a spatial paradox to occur, for the fabric of the space-time continuum to unravel, collapse in on itself as it does at moments like these, but nothing happened. We just sort of deer in the headlight at each other for a few seconds, and then as if on cue, we just sidled past one another. The other me went on his merry way with his super big box, and I went over to check my box, and we didn't say anything. There was no explosions, so I guess everything's okay, at least as okay as everything could be in a post-apocalyptic wasteland. Just another day in dystopia, I guess. So after I saw what the other me got, I half expected to find a key to the parcel locker in my own box, but alas, whatever large, interesting package the other me received, I did not get the same package in my delayed timeline. Instead, I got this little thing. Just a postcard. So, dear viewer, whoever sent that very large, very heavy-looking package to me, I didn't get it. So, I mean, I guess I did, but I didn't. So, if you could just send it again, that would be great. I mean, postcards they're good, too. I'm grateful, really, for any human connection. It's great. Yeah, I just really wish I'd gotten that really big box. It looked heavy, looked interesting, and instead I just got a postcard. So I don't really know how the multiverse divvies out privileges to different versions of the exact same person, but it just doesn't seem super fair, is all I'm saying. Dear Dystopia Apathy, the people want to know 5 reasons why they should get into solo RPG. Your friend Chudley. Well, Chudley, it's a good question, although I don't understand why 5. Seems kind of arbitrary, but if that's what the people want, who am I to question? So 5 reasons. I think if I were to boil it down to 5, I think the first one would be related to people, and that is that people are horrible. They are just the worst. All the people that I know are either zombies or insane cannibals. And while I'm sure that you probably don't have those, even people that should be reasonable, they'll prove you wrong, give enough time. So you're better off just staying as far away from other people as possible. Don't try to plan a game night. They will probably not show up. And if they do, they'll probably have unrealistic expectations, and if they bring snacks, they're just going to be leftovers that they didn't even want to eat. And you know what I'm talking about too. This the stuff they got at the holidays, and their neighbors gave it to them, and they didn't finish it, so now they're just pawning it off on your game night. Also, you've probably carefully planned an epic and interesting adventure with super unique settings, compelling NPCs that are so well thought through, they just feel like real people. But your players, they'll for sure just screw it all up with their own dumb decisions and completely random ideas that won't make near as much sense as the story beats that you've prepared for them. You were going to railroad it to a superior and excellent story writing finale, and they'll ruin it, I guarantee. So that's reason number 1, and I think we could call it good right there. People. They're sort of like the public restrooms of the animal kingdom. Sometimes you just have no other choice. You have to interact. But you're better off if you keep it short as possible and then thoroughly wash your hands afterwards. But even for those of you weirdos who do like other people, who enjoy gaming with other Homo sapiens, even though I personally cannot comprehend that, I do know that there are people like you in the world. Even for you, solo RPG gaming can be a great way for you to game in between those hard-to-schedule sessions with others. And if you're a game master, they will most definitely help those sessions go more smoothly. your solo RPG sessions, that is. You can test all your ideas or just get them down in your head and develop them better so that you're more prepared when you're inevitably needing to face other people. It'll free up your mental capabilities for the incredible taxing effort that it is to communicate and understand other people. And heaven knows I would need all the help I could get in that sort of situation. Reason number 2, mental wellness. And this reason actually relates to the first. As you can clearly see, I have some issues. And by having a mechanism for working through the narratives of my own making in a creative way, it enables me to deal with or work through many of those mental struggles. In many ways, solo RPG experiences can be like guided meditation, but with the added benefit of us being more active participants in the structure and process of that meditation. And with the added benefit that, unlike meditation, it doesn't suck. As we create characters, we face obstacles. In many ways, we're not just getting to know the characters we create, but we are, in fact, in a real way, getting to know deeper parts of ourselves. The characters we create are little parts of ourselves. We all have little villains, little heroes, maybe even little NPCs, all of them just running around up there and having little conflicts and making little messes for ourselves and for others. We need to get those parts of ourselves out there in the world and look at them, listen to their voices, hear what their needs are, study what makes them tick. No matter how horrible or strange or not socially acceptable some of the things that they do or believe are, much of what these little characters value, do, think, feel, they're extensions of us, as much as we don't want to admit it. Maybe we haven't done either the heroic or horrible things that some of these characters have and will do, but we do have darkness and light inside of us. Pieces of these characters inside of us. And getting them out and studying them is good for us. It lets us accept those parts of ourselves that we may not even know are there, or maybe we wish weren't there. It can be therapeutic, cathartic, and in some ways it allows us to develop parts of ourselves that we want to see come out more often. We get to decide what characters we want to be, and the more that we know the whole gamut of characters inside of us, the better choice we can make. And there's the added benefit of saving a lot of money that we would have spent on therapy. Reason number 3, we create our own entertainment. Solo RPGing is a constructive alternative to other more time-wasting entertainment diversions. Shortly after plagues and wars wiped out the population of my world, I discovered that I had free reign over the video rental stores and the arcades. I could sample all the delectable entertainment of which previously were cost and time prohibitive for me to enjoy on a daily basis. It was a veritable cornucopia of entertainment opened up to me. Can you imagine just whenever you're in the mood, being able to switch on a movie or a video game without any limits? That's what I had at my disposal. Now I realize that sort of unlimited access to media is something probably most of you don't have. But having experienced it myself, I can say that it's not all that it's cracked up to be. You might think, hey, it'd be nice if I could just watch whatever I want, whenever I want, or just instantly have a video game that's currently out, just right there, just get it. Not have to wait for it to come in the mail or go out and rent it or something. But having all that immediate access to entertainment isn't actually super good for us. I think, I could be wrong, there's no science to back that up. I just believe that it's not good for us. But what I realized having this unlimited stream of media at my fingertips was that I was allowing other people to control the way I enjoyed entertainment. They were able to manipulate what I felt and thought, and I'm not saying that's always bad. I mean, media can be awesome. It's a great source for inspiration and can change us and make a positive impact on who we are. It can educate us. Certainly there are positive aspects, but if all we do is consume and never create, I think we can sort of creatively fold in on ourselves. And I think definitely that is what I saw in myself, and I didn't like it. But when I started diving into solo RPG adventures, I soon found that I could experience the same enjoyment that video games or movies brought me, but that I could stretch my creative mind at the same time. It invigorated my mental faculties rather than numbing me or always allowing me to shut off mentally. And it was just as enjoyable, and in some cases even more enjoyable. It was so satisfying to look back at an evening of storytelling, creating adventures that I had never existed before, and feeling great about what I had brought into the world and experienced. I got that same enjoyment that I did when watching movies that I love, but with the added benefit of having my brain getting exercise, really, and getting stronger. And there was this pride of knowing that it was my creation, not somebody else's. Reason number 4 is portability. Solo RPGing is something that you can really do anytime, whereas it would be difficult to bust out the D&D session with your friends in the doctor's office lobby. Something that is entirely possible, though, with solo RPGing. With some dice, a deck of cards, some pen and paper, a little booklet of tables. You don't have to be limited by your desk at home. You could be on the beach, on a bus, camping, in the bathtub, at church, hunkered down in your post-apocalyptic subterranean vault with a horde of zombies clawing at the hatch. And while I do think there may be some natural hesitancy to take the polyhedral dice out in public, like I don't know if you have that whole devil worship stigma attached to role-playing games like we saw with D&D here, but if you're all worried about that, there are actually other ways to do dice rolls that take up less room and which are more inconspicuous, like spinning those small little roulette dice rollers, or maybe even you have some sort of portable device that can simulate die rolling, which could be an even better solution than I have access to. Really, the biggest obstacle is getting a solution for the Game Master emulator. And when it becomes second nature to use something like that, a lot of the solo RPG experience happens in your head. If you were to stumble on me in public and I didn't blow your head off with a shotgun thinking you were a ravaging cannibal come to harvest my organs, you would probably assume that I was just journaling or doing homework. You probably wouldn't think twice about seeing someone solo RPGing in public, and no one will think twice about you doing it. All right. We're getting near the end, guys. Number 5, it makes you a writer. Solo RPGing is secretly the best way to jumpstart that fantasy or sci-fi or whatever novel you've been wanting to work on but lacked either the gumption to start or the creative juices you needed to flush out your story. The tools available for solo RPG players like Game Master emulators, random tables with things like plot themes, character archetypes, setting development, NPC generators, random adjectives, monster tables, magic items, and even little things like sentiment tables all serve as little sparks that help you churn out creative and interesting storylines that help us get past the type of fixation we might experience when we're writing, where otherwise you'd be tempted to start your story in a tavern or with a young boy on the farm, you know, the typical tropes and traps. Whereas using tools like these can serve as artistic limitations, yes, but also paradoxically creativity enhancers, giving you tools and building blocks to create stories that haven't been told, and certainly in ways even you weren't expecting to write them, which are often surprising, delightful, and compelling. Sure, not everything you create in a solo RPG will work. You're not going to use every idea in your first breakout novel, but all the stories you begin creating all become little potential building blocks of their own that you'll draw on for that work that you'll end up writing. And as you get good at using solo RPG tools, there really is no such thing as writer's block anymore, trust me. Even if you're not feeling particularly creative one day, these tools that accompany an adept solo RPG gamer end up guiding you through that mental malaise that is common for those who do suffer from writer's block or lack of creativity or just, you know, a bad day in the office. And before you know it, your creative brain is firing on all cylinders and the ideas are flowing again. In fact, many game designers who work on campaigns or sandbox worlds for D&D and other games, they use solo RPG tools to help them. Like them, you'll likely find yourself wanting to reuse your worlds for the same sort of endeavors. This is just a natural evolution of solo RPG gaming, and at first it's very self-serving, but the more exciting the worlds, the adventures that you bring into creation, the more it will be natural for you to begin sharing these stories with others. So that's 5, right? 5 reasons why you should solo RPG? Hopefully I've convinced you and you're gonna go do that now. And maybe if enough of you find these VHS recordings useful, Chudley can let me know and I can do a follow-up about where to start, like which GM emulators and other tools you might look at using. But in that regard, really, I am limited by circumstances here. I'm completely dependent on you folks, folks like Chudley, to send me stuff by way of my temporally distorted post office box. So if you have something interesting you think I should try out and record a video about when it comes to solo TTRPGs, please send them my way. Or even better yet, if you could spare any shotgun ammunition or toilet paper, definitely running low on those, near emergency status. Just a plug, but that's all for now. Until next time, I wish you all the best as you navigate your own apocalypse. Goodbye.